Hi folks, we're with Loona again tonight and we're doing part 2 of our video that we started last night, which is answering the question, is Loona a toy? So first of all, I'd like to thank everyone. She's sniffing a pork and rolling it over.
Roly-poly pork.
Sniffing it as well. So first of all, I'd like to say a big thank you to everybody who commented on the first part last night and who left some really interesting comments.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start the video tonight looking at some of those comments and replying to them. So first of all, everybody that left a comment agreed with Paul and myself that Loona is definitely not a toy. So one of the comments said, the marketing seems geared more towards the family as a whole, so that it's on par with something like an alpha robot.
If it's geared towards the family as a whole, that means children can interact with it, maybe play with it like a toy, as long as they are supervised, yeah.
This person said there is some functionality for children, but it's like being geared towards a family, like a sort of family pet. You know, when you get a pet, it's normally for the whole family. They did mention Moxie is not a toy, but it's geared for children. So last night we were sort of having two categories: one toys aimed at children, and the other entertainment or therapy robots aimed at adults. And I was going to talk about that later to qualify it, because there are some toys that are aimed at adults and there are some robots that are aimed at children, but they tend to be in the minority. Then they said, I think the marketing demographic as well as the functionality of the product also play a part, and they would agree that Loona is not a toy. What we'll be discussing later is the marketing of Loona, because I'm not sure how KEYi is going to go with it. I mean, it started off as crowdfunding. They've made a small amount. They've sent out Christmas delivery around 2,000. They've got about another 6,000, might be a bit more than that now, ordered. But I don't know if they are going to try and go for mass market or not.
What are they going to do? Are they going to aim for like toy volumes, you think?
Don't know. It's I really don't know. I mean, the price of it, which is something else we're going to discuss later, is very competitive compared to entertainment robots generally.
It is, yeah. But that price would come down amazingly if it was produced with volumes of toys.
I can't see it getting up to those volumes, but somewhere in between, somewhere in between an entertainment robot, which tend to be small volume, and toys which are very high. But getting back to the comments, another person said another factor in their opinion is that a child can play safely with a toy unsupervised, without damaging a toy. Toys are made that way.
That's right, yeah. So you can put the child in a room with a toy, they're by themselves, and they're not going to hurt themselves or break the toy.
Yeah. Robots aren't made to be dropped on the floor or have parts of them sort of forced back. In Loona's case, it appears she needs to be watched so that her ears aren't damaged, etc.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Although she is quite of a robust
yes, she is.
Form. Unlike an eyebow, there are no multiple segmented limbs. There are wheels, which there's just the one joint in the middle, isn't there? And of course the ears, which seem to be vulnerable to a child being a bit enthusiastic, maybe.
Yes, so I would say kids have to be supervised if a kid's going to be around.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
And then somebody else mentions price. The price shows she isn't a toy. you're not going to find many toys for that price, apart from ride-on toys and similar large items. But then again, some parents may allow the kids to have a Loona. But it is true, isn't it, that entertainment robots have been expensive, very pricey.
Toys normally,
yeah. I mean, iBo's $3,000.
Yeah, toy manufacturers normally assess how much people can spend every year at Christmas on a big toy, don't they?
Yeah, and it's interesting because we've noticed that it went up quite high at one point.
Yes.
Like, you did get some toys being made for well over $100.
This was a few years back.
Yeah. Like Roaring Tyler was $135.
Yeah.
And it was very good quality.
Yeah, that was
really
a time
nice
when people had a bit more money in the pocket globally.
But since the sort of
pandemic and
cost of living crisis and high inflation, we've noticed you're not getting many toys for even £80.
That's right, yeah.
And of course, with inflation, it's costing more to produce those toys. So they really have lowered the bar on the cost of manufacturing a toy. And when you get onto things like Disney, they've got the license to pay out of that as well.
That is.
Yeah. And then someone else says that they have a vector and they consider it as a pet and certainly not as a toy.
Interesting, because vectors stem from Cosmo, didn't they? Produced by Anki.
Yes, Vector looked very much like Cosmo, but was much, much smarter. And was more expensive as well because it was smarter. And I think that you can have more of a relationship with an entertainment robot than you can with a toy.
Oh yeah, that's true, because one of the things robots have over toys is a lot more processing power, capable of running a lot more complicated programs. Often cloud connected, back to
yes, that was one of the differences that we had down to talk about, that entertainment robots often have a Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah, necessary for often quite large updates, and cloud services. For instance, Loona's got access to an Alexa cloud service
for the voice recognition.
Yeah. So they've got smart capability on the cloud as well as on board their own hardware.
Whereas toys, they tend to just use Bluetooth.
And well, I can't think of any toy that's had a sort of like cloud connection back to some cloud-based smart capability.
So updates for toys tend to be rarer, and the updates tend to be smaller, whereas with entertainment robots you tend to get updates are more common and you tend to get more substantive
because
updates.
the programs running on the devices themselves are much bigger, aren't they, than those on toys.
So entertainment robots have more processing power. So we were talking amongst ourselves earlier about microcontrollers.
Yeah, they tend to use microcontrollers
in just about everything.
Yeah, you get them in toys as well, don't you? But microcontrollers, they come in little tiny, not very powerful ones that you might have in a birthday card, flashing lights and playing a tune.
Yeah, which is very, very simple.
To much more capable ones with more powerful, because they've got higher clock speeds, more internal memory and more peripherals inside them. In things like Loona, and sometimes they might have multiple microcontrollers as well.
Yeah.
I think Loona's got more than one, I believe.
Right.
And the iBo's certainly have more than one.
And as we were saying last night, with an entertainment robot, it tends to be all software programming. So you need that bigger, more substantial microcontroller. Yeah. Whereas, as we saw with the droid that we looked at last night, a lot of it is offloaded from the microcontroller, because you've got things like all the movement
Well, it only has one motor, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, and that motor's being used through mechanical programming to do. That one motor is used through mechanical programming to do many different movements.
And the microcontroller is mainly sort of looking at inputs, because you need a microcontroller.
Yeah, like a touch sensor or a microphone. Yeah.
Which the droid has both.
Which are used to influence the program, the way it behaves.
And talking about sensors, toys don't tend to have many sensors.
I don't know, yeah, you certainly get more sensors on.
I have said tendency because
Yeah,
there's always exceptions, but what we're saying is that there's more of a tendency. So if you are to look statistically at toys,
yeah,
they won't have as many sensors.
And they tend to be the simpler ones as well,
Robot.
or perhaps the ones that have not. For instance, let's look at Loona. Loona has a camera which is a sensor.
Yeah, one of the things we said was you don't get cameras on toys.
No, because they require a lot more processing power to extract anything useful out of the picture, the moving picture that it's seeing, which just puts the expense up. And another one you don't tend to get on toys, another sensor, is the time of flight sensor.
That Loona has.
And the iBoats have its relatively new sensor. It sends out a pulse and I think it's infrared light, and times how long it takes to come back, and is therefore able to work out how far away something is quite accurately in front of it. Much more accurate than ultrasonics.
Some toys use infrared, but it's like in a more basic way, isn't it?
Yeah, some toys will use infrared just to sort of say, am I picking up a reflection or am I not picking up a reflection? Or
like a zoomer or...
Yeah, or what's the strength of that reflection? They're not actually sending out a pulse and timing it.
Yeah.
Because obviously the timing's in it's very small scale. You're in the order of like nanoseconds or smaller.
But to be honest, you don't often see toys now, even with, your more basic infrared. Using those in a more basic way.
Yeah,
they've become simpler, I think, in recent years. Toys.
I think so, yeah. But there is one sensor that's cropped up, which is a colour sensor, which has been used in a few toys.
Not many.
Not many, no.
Not many. I can only think of 3.
That being
Moji. And what Skyrocket made before Moji, the Lumi.
And Loverbella.
And the last Loverbella that they made. Yeah.
Yeah, so in general, the robots, the entertainment robots have more sensors, more sophisticated sensors than toys, although there is some overlap between them. One being touch sensors, which occur in both of them, and microphones.
Yeah, one of the main sensors that they use in toys is touch sensors. They're in like anything that's interactive tends to have at least one touch sensor.
Yeah.
Our pets have all gone to sleep. All 3 of them. They've been pretty entertaining tonight, but we are coming to the end of the video. So that's about all we've got time for tonight. In tomorrow's video, we're going to talk about how behaviour is different in entertainment robots and in toys.
Okay, yeah.
We're going to talk about exceptions to the rule.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to talk about how Loona fits in with all of this.
Right, okay.
So I hope you can join us again for that tomorrow. But thanks for watching as always, folks. Keep the comments coming.
Yeah.
And see you next time.